Good morning, everyone. This is Munzar Ameer Kazmi, and today we'll be talking about the critical evaluation of Porter's five forces model for strategy. Yeah. For the analysis of this article of today's lecture, we have considered two main articles, which are from Dr. Grundy and from an author from Netherlands, Fabian. I would like to place my arguments for Porter's model, which states it is one of the best tools to analyze attractiveness and likely profitability of an industry. And then it states this is a simple but effective tool to understand where power lies in a business. It is helpful to understand the competitive position in a business situation. And it also gives us a picture of where the environment we are going into. It talks more about the future, and it is more focused into a micro-analysis of an industry. We have, I would like to elaborate a little bit about different models of strategy making in the business environment, which are having slight differences as well. This is the Porter's model, which is more into micro level and industry analysis to form a strategy. And here it is, we can see it's pastel analysis, which focuses more into the macro level analysis of the business environment. And it involves political situation, then economical situation, then social-cultural situation, technology, and legal issues related to any business or the ecological effects involving a business. And then here it is, the SWOT analysis, which also tells us more about the strengths and weaknesses of a business from internally, and from external effects it focuses on the macro level, macro analysis of an environment as well. So these are basic differences from Porter's model of business strategy. Here's the comparison given by the Dr. Grundy, who elaborated and broke down the Porter's model into very fine pieces to understand what are the advantages and disadvantages, and where it is similar and dissimilar from other models of business strategy planning. We can see here are some valued attributes of Porter's model, and I would like to tell you that Grundy argues that the Porter concept is harsh, it gives only a scratch to the potential which Porter's model is having inside. So if we go for the analysis of Grundy, we will come to know what are the hidden potentials and the latent potential in Porter's model. We can see it is a simplified microeconomic theory into five major influences of rivalry, substitutes, the threats of entrants, then the power of suppliers and the powers of customers. And then it tells us how competitive rivalry is a function of its other four forces, which form Porter's model. And then it predicts the long run rate in a particular industry and a market. And then it focuses on relative market growth rates, more into it tells more about in determining the industry attractiveness. It focuses more into this thing. Then it helped us to combine input-output analysis of an industry with the boundaries within an industry, and we have to consult the entry barriers and substitutes to understand, to combine input-output analysis of the industry. Then searching for imperfect markets, it tells us the importance, how much it is important to look for imperfect markets, because it is very useful for us to, because if we understand imperfect markets, it will give us more scope for better offers from national opportunities and better returns for the profit of the business. And that it focused managers on the external environment, which is way more better than the traditional and most commonly used SWOT analysis before the Porter's model was launched. And now I would like to elaborate a little bit about the limitations of Porter's work. It is having several, like it overstresses macro analysis, macro level analysis, because it is more into the industry level. And that it oversimplifies industry chain value. It doesn't. It was suggested by Grundy that it must be changed into, broken down into more. The factors were supposed to be more well defined. For example, when talking about the buyer's power, it should be segmented and differentiated into the middle suppliers, then the intermediate channels, then more into the end customers. And then it fails to talk directly about the managerial issues relating to the five forces. They are just compact forces. It doesn't talk more about if a problem happens in the real life, what will be the urgent solution for those problems. Then it takes industrial specific entirety with ongoing boundaries, but nowadays the boundaries are like so fluid, it doesn't support it too much. It appears to be self-contained, but actually it is just a compact model and it stands alone in this analysis. It must be, it doesn't cooperate with past factors and SWOT factors. It's perceived to be more jargon, which just sounds like a more branded and over-branded image, and it's really hard for the real-life managers to absorb it at once. We'll talk about onion layers of Grundy. He's posed like these are the factors influencing the climate, the industrial climate of an industry. But Grundy explained that these factors, the Porter's model would be much better if it regarded all these things, if it includes the pest analysis on the bigger environment, then if it was more competitive into the growth drivers of an industry, if Porter must be focusing into all these things. And now I would like to talk a little bit about Fabian's analysis of Porter's model, because nowadays, when the Porter's model was launched, or he evolved this model, it was having old rules, regulations. That was called the concept of old economy and new economy. Porter's model was basically based on the old economical scenario. Right now, the situation has changed a lot. There are three basic forces which influence a lot the recent scenario of the corporate climate, which are the globalization, which is deregulation, and the digitalization. And for digitalization, I would like to elaborate a little bit, because nowadays, when Grundy launched his model, evolved his model, at that time, the customers, the suppliers, or the rivals, they didn't have that much access to the data available. Right now, because of the advancement in the field of internet and information technology, the models, the power of buyers is much more higher, and because they can assess so many markets. And then globalization is here, because nowadays all companies, they want to they want to, they are more globally well known, and they focus more into, they want to give their data on internet, customers having access, suppliers having access, so the scenario is changed completely. Then I would like to talk a little bit about deregulation, which have been changed after the model of Porter was launched. It talks a little bit about, at that time, I would like to give the example of airline industry, which have a big change before 1980s. The airline industry was controlled, not only airline industry, but several industries was also controlled by the government, and the influence was very high. But in 1978 or near in 1980s, the US government, Netherlands governments, and Belgium government deregulated the pre-existing act for airline industry, which after that law, the power of airline industries grew up very high. And the threats for new entrants were very big. Customers got a big advantage out of it. So the airline industry came in competitive price competition for winning the market, and which influenced a lot. And these are the main differences and complications and some drawbacks of Porter's model. In the end, I would like to conclude that if all these factors, like the past analysis, SWOT analysis, is combined with Porter's model, and if these forces placed by Dr. Fabian from Netherlands, if we can combine these forces together, I think so Porter's model is still a valid and very applicable analysis tool for any industry. Thank you very much. If you have any questions. Any questions, please?
That was great.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Munzar.